in Grand Prix history reaches its conclusion since it all kicked off at the Chang International Circuit over in Southeast Asia, Buriram in Thailand for round one. It's had 21 Grand Prix since. A lot of fun, a lot of drama along the way. A new world champion in MotoGP, of course, with Marc Marquez back on top of the world. Sadly, they're missing for this season finale, our final showdown of the campaign, where we will finally find out who are our three world champions in 2025. Marquez taking the glory in the top class, Jose Antonio Rueda, the new king of Moto3. Surely this is going to be Diogo Moreira's date with destiny, as he holds a commanding 24-point lead over Manu Gonzalez. The history beckoning for Moreira. Can he become the first Brazilian ever to win a Grand Prix title? Business in terms of the top three overall in the MotoGP World Championship. Well, that was settled in yesterday's 13-lap sprint. It was won by Alex Marquez. And what a couple of sprint Saturdays Alex has had to close out 2025. The winner of the Portimao sprint, and he dominated the sprint here yesterday, which significantly in terms of the championship, securing that third place overall, the highest ranked Aprilia rider in history. On pole position, a disappointing fifth, not what Bezzecchi was hoping for in yesterday's 13-lap sprint. He had an issue with the front whole shock device, not disengaging until turn 2, dropping back to 6, eventually finishing 5th place, but he does secure third place overall in the championship. As mentioned, the highest ranking Aprilia rider. Second time in 3 years that Bezzecchi's finished top 3 in the World Championship. Talking you through all of today's final day then, the last day of school in 2025. Matt Burton Lewis will be in the commentary box. We are down in pit lane. Well, there's been a lot of silver medals. Well, the second place of Alex Marquez this season. He's got a silver livery, which I guess is some kind of homage, Lewis, to the fact that he's clinched second place in the World Championship. And back-to-back sprint wins yesterday for Alex. He was absolutely phenomenal in that sprint.
Closing the Saturday action in 2025 in style. As you mentioned, back-to-back sprint victories. With Pedro Acosta behind him in second place, but very different routes to those victories for Alex Marquez. He had to fight tooth and nail against Pedro Acosta in Portimao 8 days ago. Yesterday, though, it was a much more comfortable experience for the championship runner-up. Took the lead at the start, as Marco Bezzecchi had some problems getting his front start device disengaged. Alex Marquez took full advantage, and once he took the lead, he never looked back.
Yeah, Alex Marquez has had 17 sprint podiums in his Grand Prix career. Remarkably, 15 of them have come in this fantastic 2025 for the 29-year-old Spaniard. Can he take the 28th double win in the MotoGP World Championship? Pecco Bagnaia, well, he believes his hopes of a top finish in the sprint yesterday were undone by, suspected at the time that he might have had a fuel issue, running out of fuel in that Q1 session. A miscalculation by the team as well, rather big miscalculations wasn't as well. There was 3 minutes remaining of that Q1 session when he did run out of juice. It meant he wasn't able to get directly to the Q2, and Bagnaia taking the checkered flag in the sprint yesterday in a lowly 14th place. He got picked off late on by his former Factory Ducati teammate Enea Bastianini. And significantly in the World Championship, with just one Grand Prix remaining, it's seen Bagnaia plummet down the rankings even further. He's now 5th overall coming into our final Grand Prix campaign. 6 points he is adrift of Pedro Acosta, and they're starting at opposite ends of this grid today.
Find it highly unlikely, not impossible, but highly unlikely that Pecco Bagnaia is going to overturn that. Of course, he needs to even score 6 points himself today to have any hope of overturning that, and then he needs something to go badly wrong for Pedro Acosta, who starts up in 5th place. You saw a moment ago Jorge Martin inside the Factory Aprilia box, looking to complete his season on track, which isn't where he started it. Of course, Martin did have an off-track excursion yesterday, which forced him to finish down the back of the field in 22nd place. He is one of 2 riders coming into today's final Grand Prix of the season here in Valencia with penalties next to his name. Martin with a double long lap penalty after taking out his teammate Marco Bezzecchi in the Motegi sprint, and Joan Mir here on screen, he has 1 long lap penalty for taking out his teammate Luca Marini in the sprint here yesterday.
Controversial 13-lap sprint here yesterday. One of the big talking points was the contact at turn 2 where Marini and Mir found each other on the deck very early on. A bit of friendly fire in HRC. Jack Miller and Fermin Aldeguer having a rather explosive tangle at that same corner. In the sprint, fair to say, I'm sure you've seen it across social media, Jack Miller not exactly in agreement, in full agreement with his 3rd place position drop. Very angry venting his frustration at the stewards here last night. Just touch upon that a little bit more in our coverage of the build to the main Grand Prix this afternoon. But Pecco Bagnaia, well, all season long he's talked about second in the World Championship was not good enough. Third wasn't great. Fourth, shocking. Well, Megas fifth on his end of season success gauge. Place he's dropped down to now in the championship. Never offered anything really in terms of coming forward in that sprint yesterday. First defence then for Joan Mir. Unfortunately, that crash with Marini yesterday took his personal tally for the campaign up to 19 DNFs. 48 now in total as a HRC rider. He said it was probably just a little bit too keen on a dirty part of the inside line on turn 2. Not enough temperature in the left-hand side of the tyre as well. And of course, he was very, very quick to apologise to his teammate Luca Marini.
All the riders to take out. You never want to take out your teammate, but on this of all weekends where Honda had a clear target coming into this final race of the season, 7 points across their 9 points, should I say, across their all riders, which means 7th place is what they require today in order to move up a level of concessions. Of course, they were hoping to take a bite out of that points tally they required in the sprint yesterday, but none of their riders scored.
As we mentioned, Jack Miller was fighting for a point-scoring finish in yesterday's sprint when it all went a bit wrong. A controversial collision with Ferdinand Alligator, which has been the subject of some hot debate overnight here in Valencia. Let's get the thoughts of Prima Paddock in the heart loss. Gino Borsoy, who is with our own Jack.
Yeah, he is indeed. As you guys mentioned, Jack, far from home with the decision made yesterday. Gino, what was your take on the drop 3 places penalty?
Well, at the end of the day, it's not my job make this kind of decision. What I said to me yesterday was a normal overtake, maybe at the limit, but not for a penalty. So, but again, I'm a team manager of the team, not a race direction steward. So it is what it is. Now we have, let's say, our mentality ready for the race, and that's it.
Do you think it was a fair penalty? Do you think the penalty was fair?
As I said before, I don't want to talk about it. It's not my job, my opinion. It was not the right decision, but that's it.
In terms of looking at today, Jack, clearly it's been fairly competitive this weekend. Has been up there, in around what Fabio has been able to do, which is a great sign. What do you think is possible today for him?
Yeah, for sure. I think he have a good speed. He have a good pace. Yesterday unlucky, but today I think if he are able to do the quality for sure for the top 10. This I have no doubt.
Obviously seen Toprak here over the course of the weekend as well. Has he been in the box meeting the team? How have you tried to make sure that Tuesday is as easy as possible for him?
Toprak is 2026. Today is 2025. We have another race with Miguel, which is a good guy, incredible rider. I wanna, let's say, finish the season and hopefully give, let's say, a good day for him, because he deserves to have a good result, a good day.
Thanks, Gino.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jack. Thanks to Gino Borsoy. Yeah, diplomatic in the extreme there, wasn't he? Dodging the questions about the Miller Aldeguer incident. It's not been the warm-up, the final warm-up for 2025 that Bastianini was hoping for. As you can see, just cruising to the grass on the inside of turn 5. KTM that has called time on Anea in this morning warm-up session. Jack Miller putting behind him the disappointment of yesterday's sprint chaos. Leads this morning warm session. Guess who's second behind him? It's Ferdinand Aldeguer, who's coming through this tight turn 2. It's fair to say, Lewis, I mean, we know Jack, and he's a very affable character. Yeah. It takes a lot to get sort of Jack hot under the collar, but you only had to listen to his interview with Dorney yesterday, his media debrief. He was angry, to say the least.
Yeah, and it goes to show that from the initial views we see of an incident, there's always a lot more to it than that. It's why the stewards often want to have all the data, all the different angles available to them to truly judge an incident. And Jack Miller's point was that Ferdinand Aldeguer released the brake and tried to drop it over the front of Miller, which forced Miller to outbrake himself. Because, of course, he wanted the inside line, which he felt he was entitled to. And, yeah, he was very forthright and shooting pretty straight with his comments about the decision, criticising and questioning the consistency of some of these stewarding decisions over the season. Jack Miller, understandably annoyed with what happened yesterday. Initially, of course, he was doing a 3-place drop, which he did not comply with. And once he was given a long lap penalty instead, he recognised that he was probably in his best interest to serve that penalty, because then it might roll over or receive an even stronger penalty into today's Grand Prix. So Jack Miller is penalty free coming into this 27-lap Valencia Grand Prix, with Fermin Aldeguer starting right next to him, of course. They're both on row 3.
He went full Bastianini in Barcelona last year, didn't he? Like a one-man protest. He got the 3-place drop position penalty, but just as he did, I ignored it. Like then he got the long lap race flag, but it just eventually was like, might carry on.
That's
Yes, I'll take my punishment. And coming into the long lap, eventually saw Miller take the checker flag in 12th place. Alex Marquez was your sprint winner yesterday. Pedro Acosta, 21st MotoGP podium, and unfortunately for Pedro Acosta fans, it wasn't from the top step. We are still awaiting that first win in the Premier Class for the 21-year-old Spaniard. We just saw him on screens. Danny Pedrosa, who's still very much a fundamental part of KTM's test and development team. And there's a little bit of a side bet between Pedrosa and Acosta in this 27-lap race coming up this afternoon at 2 p.m. local time. It's apparently a challenge. Pedrosa has said if Acosta does break his duck here in Valencia this weekend, he's got to dye his hair KTM orange. So I'm sure you're going to be joining us for the Tuesday test here in Valencia in a couple of days' time. The 2026 MotoGP gets underway. Well, if Pedro Acosta takes the checker flag first this afternoon, well, cameras are plenty parked outside that KTM garage to see if he has indeed gone orange on the old bombs.
KTM, I think at this stage, would do literally anything to get a MotoGP victory at last. They haven't had a victory of any sort since Jerez 2023 when Brad Binder won the sprint. Haven't won a Grand Prix full length on a Sunday since Buriram 2022, which of course was in wet conditions. Haven't won in the dry for over 4 years since the Catalan Grand Prix of 2021. And Miguel Oliveira, who, as Jack mentioned, takes his place on the grid for the final time as a full-time MotoGP entrant, his 117th and final MotoGP start today. He won in 2021. So KTM have got a number of pretty lengthy droughts to try and break today. Pedro Acosta, you feel he's going to have to try and seize track position at the start if he's going to achieve that.
93 Grand Prix today, since that Catalan round in 2021. Way too long for KTM to be winless in this MotoGP World Championship. Acosta is finishing 2025 though, isn't he? In really tip-top form. 4 successive sprint podiums now for the Spaniard. Third he was in qualifying, third in Sepang, second last weekend in Portimao. Fabio Quartararo might be taking over the top of this morning warm session. He does indeed, with a 1:30.111. Massive 2026 coming up with Quartararo and for Yamaha with the new V4 M1 powered project. Is that going to be the project which will convince Quartararo to remain with Yamaha beyond 2026? Of course, next season, behind the off-track action, is going to be a very wild and crazy city season. So many riders. Diogo Moreira, Topaz Lascaffiolti, I think Johan Zarco are the only 3 riders who will start next year's MotoGP World Championship in Thailand in early March with 2027 contracts. Which of course means 19 are on the free market. Some of them will be looking for maybe new deals with new employees if they can't find success. I'm thinking of Quartararo and Acosta in particular.
Yeah, several riders will be starting next season looking to prove themselves, but so will all 5 manufacturers in truth. As you mentioned, Yamaha, KTM, suddenly in that situation where they have to prove and demonstrate to their star riders that they are worth sticking with for the future. Alex Marquez, all in silver, but going for gold once again this afternoon to wrap up the best season of his life, which will end this evening alongside his older brother on stage at the MotoGP Awards, which you'll be able to watch live on MotoGP.com later on this evening.
It's been an absolutely unreal 2025 has been for Alex Marquez. I think we all felt that when he got his hands on one of those GP24s, which was so dominant in last year's World Championship, it was probably going to be the final piece of the puzzle to really fire Alex towards glory in MotoGP. I think maybe even Alex would expect such a significant upturn in fortunes. He took one podium in the whole of 2024. Yesterday in the sprint with his victory, that was podium number 27. 26 more podiums compared to 2024. He really has taken full advantage of that GP24 kit underneath him. And of course, his dazzling performances this year have earned Alex an upgrade. He's on a full spec 2026 Devon Sadici next year. It will bring extra pressure with it, an extra burden of having to contribute to development, although there's not going to be so much development in the late generation 1000cc prototypes as we move to the new engine capacity and product tyres in 2027. Nevertheless, it's a just reward for Alex's brilliance in 2025.
Every rider on track in this warm-up session has got the soft front tyre on, with the exception of Pedro Acosta, who's medium front. We're expecting most, if not all, to go across to the hard front later on for the Grand Prix itself. The soft front being ran as Bezzecchi ran in the sprint yesterday at the moment, largely due to the cooler temperatures and because they're not expecting to need these tyres in the Grand Prix later on. Medium rear for everyone except Augusto Fernandez. That is expected to be the near unanimous pick later on today.
So it looks like our final Sunday morning action of the 2025 World Championship campaign will be led by factory Yamaha star Fabio Quartararo. That is session over. All that's left for us to attend to then now in 2025 is the final 3 Grand Prix of the campaign. 1 world title still up for grab. Diogo Moreira, a massive red odds-on favourite to secure the MotoGP title ahead of Manu Gonzalez. It's been come turn around between those two in the second half of the Moto2 World Championship campaign. We're expecting a full house, a sell-out crowd. I'm told that there were long traffic jams outside this Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia from about 7 a.m. this morning. Hottest tickets in European motorsport this weekend, in European sport in general, I'd imagine. 100,000 fans were expecting to pack into this circuit.
Awesome sure had tickets for last year's Valencia Grand Prix, which of course sadly did not happen due to the flood, to which badly affected this region, and our thoughts remain with those who were affected. Many of course will have rolled over their tickets for this season. No one wanted to miss the return to Valencia, and no one wants to miss the final action, competitive action of MotoGP in 2025 as Joan Mir gets his practice in. That is along that penalty loop, which he will have to come through later on this afternoon.
Marco Bezzecchi's completed mission number 1 of this weekend to clinch the place overall in the World Championship. Can he be the first to fully rider in history to win back-to-back races? That's next challenge. That's next on the agenda as far as Bez is concerned. 4th in that one session as he gets set to fire away from his 9th on position. Regardless of what happens this afternoon, it's been a pretty his best ever MotoGP season. 3 Grand Prix victories, 3rd in the championship for Bezzecchi. 5 pole positions for the RSGP as well. So they've emerged as potentially the biggest threat to Ducati in 2026. Quartararo then leads from Alex Marquez. Raul Fernandez, he might be one to watch in the 27-lap Grand Prix this afternoon. He did his level best to keep Fabio Di Giannantonio at bay for most of the second half of yesterday's sprint. It was maybe a clear indication yesterday, that particular battle with Fernandez and Di Giannantonio, just how difficult it is to overtake around this compact, just over 4-kilometre Ricardo Tormo circuit. Giannantonio says really difficult to make a clean pass, as we saw with the Miller Aldeguer. So I think as well, Bagnaia said when you qualify as deep down as he does, it's very hard to make a clean pass, very hard to make a pass that does not involve contact. You have to be millimetre perfect if you're going to try and find your way through here in Valencia. We saw several illustrations of just how tricky it is to pass here in Valencia in that sprint yesterday.
If the rider ahead of you makes no mistakes, which Raul Fernandez made yesterday, Bagnaia then, well, he must be counting down the minutes until 2 p.m. later on today, and he can get this final Grand Prix over with 16 in this warm-up session, although he once again represents just how close it's been. In fact, all the way down to Ayaguri in 18th in that warm-up session, just 0.56 of a second. Bagnaia once again finding himself in a qualifying 1 session he could not escape from yesterday. I don't think he'll be necessarily all that pleased this morning to have been outpaced by his teammate Nicola Rudiger, who was up in P11.
Valencia 2025, a very different feeling to Valencia 2023 and 2023 for Pecco Bagnaia, where it was right here at the Ricardo Tormo circuit where he was crowned twice a MotoGP World Champion. Fabio Quartararo leads the final warm-up of the campaign.
130.1, saw him a 10th clear of the sprint winner yesterday, Alex Marquez, Raul Fernandez and Marco Bezzecchi. Is the 4th ahead of Fabio Di Giannantonio, who goes from the front row later on. Pedro Acosta 6th ahead of Joan Mir, who I guess Williams looking to make amends for Honda later on today. Alligator 8 ahead of Miller. They remain inseparable this weekend. Maverick Vinales up in the top 10 for Tech 3 ahead of Nicola Bruniger, Miguel Oliveira, and Frank Morbidelli. Aleix Spargo 14 ahead of his fellow Honda rider Luca Marini. Bagnaia, as mentioned, 16th ahead of Jorge Martin, Ayagura, Augusto Fernandez, and Brad Binder P20. Joan Zarco 21st ahead of Enea Bastianini, who we saw pulling off with some apparent technical problems on his KTM. Zoltan Chatra and Alex Rins, the only two riders behind.
So Quattro leads the final quarter 2025. We've had 63 Grand Prix in this record-breaking campaign, just 3 remaining. Who will take the final victory in MotoGP in 2025? He will be our Moto2 World Champion on a decisive and pivotal final race day here in Valencia. We hope you have a great one at home, folks. Enjoy.
Tu so van de lek. Sta il più aggressivo. Ecco un po' fatica la tre.
So I want to take one guy that is here with all of us, Jorge Lorenzo. So it's nice to have him here around the best riders in the world. How it feels to be back here on the track with the best riders, remembering 10 years already of your World Championship.
Yeah, you know, especially bikes change a lot in 10 years. Now looks like spaceships. My bikes were more normal bikes, but you know the memory stays. Has been an amazing year, 2015. Lot of pressure in the last race, but finally in the important moment I did an amazing laps and perfect race, and I had a happy ending. So 10 years flies, the times fly, but anyway, very happy with these amazing riders, the best in the planet, and enjoy this weekend with the public.
Mensaje para toda la afición aquí en el circuito de Valencia.
Nada, como siempre, increíble afición española. Estoy muy contento de que 10 años después se aprecia mucho lo que está haciendo Marc, que la gente esté con Marc y con los pilotos españoles. Y nada, disfrutar de la carrera como siempre.
Muchas gracias, Jorge. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we are gonna move here around where there is a small bunch of riders. I'm with someone that actually is not racing this weekend, but it's also feeling the crowd, the people, and the MotoGP feelings. You know, we are really looking forward to see him back in 2026. Marc Marquez.
Yeah, strange feeling, honestly speaking, to be here with all the riders, and you know that you will not compete on Sunday, but yeah, let's see. Guys, enjoy the fans and enjoy this amazing year.
Increíble estar en Valencia de vuelta. ¿Qué sientes? ¿Qué sensación tienes de estar aquí de vuelta viendo toda la afición valenciana?
Pues ayer hacía muchos años que no vivía una carrera desde el vial, mirando las motos y con toda la grada llena, era impresionante, así que nada, hoy lo disfrutaré igual, sobre todo que disfrute la afición de este gran motociclismo.
Muchas gracias, Marc. Gracias. And now we move because it's very close from Marquez to Marquez, but the one that is actually winning this weekend yesterday did an amazing race. So how you feel today? It's been a good warm-up, but I feel that you are ready to take that victory, the last victory of 2026. 25, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see 26. 25, first of all, we need to finish in a good way. Yeah, we have good opportunity to make the 37 points today, but also in Portimao we lose the victory. So for sure, our opponents like Pedro, like Marco, they will be also really fast, also someone else. So can be, I think, a really long race. 27 laps here are so long. You need to save the rear tire. So we'll see. We'll try our best, and yeah, that crowd will give to us extra motivation.
Lo hablábamos con Marc, muy especial volver aquí en Valencia, estar delante de toda esta afición valenciana que tanto los echábamos de menos.
Sí, siempre es muy especial volver aquí, siempre es bonito, pero sobre todo después de un año mágico, venir aquí aún es más especial y celebrando delante de todos ellos, así que ojalá hoy puedan disfrutar de una gran carrera.
Muchas gracias, Alex. So, and super close here, Terminal de Guerre. Yesterday had a small clash with Jack Miller that he took out some, you know, let's say, opportunity to fight with the top riders, but still today aiming for a good position.
Yeah, yesterday one touch with other rider for sure. Nothing. I lost all the possibilities to fight for the top 5 because at the end we was close. The podium maybe is a little bit far this weekend, but I do always my best. Today we have another opportunity. Try to finish my first season in MotoGP the best way as possible and try to enjoy in front of all the Spanish people.
Thank you, Fermin. Best of luck. Thank you. So we move from one of the heroes of the weekends in Valencia, in Spain, Pedro Costa trying to take that first victory of his career in MotoGP. Maybe it's today. That's a question of $1 million.
Well, let's say, normal normally Sundays we struggle much more than the other days during the weekend for this. Let's try to put everything together. Let's try to don't make small mistakes like the one from yesterday in 10-8, but I think if we put something together, we can make a good race.
And how is the dropping of the tire here today? Because it seems to be one of the keys.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long race. You know, this 10-13 is always tough for the tires, but I think we was making a good step this morning in the warm-up for this. Let's see what's going on.
Best of luck, Pedro. Thank you very much. So we are moving from one KTM rider to another KTM rider, but we are going to see him in a few years in MotoGP. At the moment, he's the world champion of Moto3, Jose Antonio Rueda. It's amazing to be back here. It's so nice to see you back in, good physical conditions apart of this hand. That is a little bit inflated, but how you feel to be here with the surrounding of the MotoGP. MotoGP historical, an amazing riders and also world champions.
Yeah, for me, it's amazing to be here with the other riders. This day was incredible. I remember, I think, also all my life because all of this, all the riders, all the legends also here. And yeah, I'm really happy today. So let's enjoy with everybody. Also close the lap in the good way.
Thank you, and see you in a few years, maybe a couple of years here already in MotoGP. Thank you, Jose Antonio. Thank you. So Johan was looking at us here. We are reaching Valencia, the last race of the year, and you can have two feelings. Like it's a pity because it's finishing the year, or wow, the year was so long. But it feels that for you and for Honda, like you are taking a good speed at the end of the year.
Yeah, we did good improvements in September, October, and but even with the good improvements, we are happy to finish the season. Because 22 races is long, and we can feel body and spirit a bit tired. You try to reboost yourself every week, but after Friday, Saturday, sometimes you feel heavy. But the last push, and we can fight for top 10. It's always a good target because where we began the project with Honda last year in 2024, we were very far. So we are getting close, and I think with this end of season, we can prepare well 2026, hoping to fight for more podiums.
Thank you very much, Johan. Best of luck. Thank you. Trying to hold Maverick Viñales. He's back on racing here in Valencia. So happy to having you back. It's been missing a lot of races. How you feel? It was important for you, to close the year in this way here racing, and also start the 2026 on Tuesday with the test, the first test of the year.
Well, what I feel is that still I need a lot of work to do with my condition, with my strength. It is the most important. I cannot ride the bike the same way or the same intensity I was riding before. And we have a bike that you need to put intensity to make it work. So I feel it's the correct steps, but still there is a lot to improve. So I'm really aiming for Tuesday to try the new updates on the bikes and then to build up a really good strength to the pre-season.
Thank you, Maverick. We missed you so much. Thank you very much. So we are moving here to Raúl Fernández, one of the top guys during all the weekend. But yesterday, this front tire choice maybe was the game changers for you and for Marco Bezzecchi, your teammate inside Aprilia. What you're aiming for today? It's going to be a long race, but I believe it's going to change the front tire.
For sure. We make a small mistake with the front tire, but anyway, we have to learn. Yesterday, I enjoyed a lot on the sprint, and also I try until the end. Anyway, always with the medium, I feel much better, so today we will play for sure.
It's very special for everyone to be back here in Valencia, but I'm asking to the Spanish riders, how is what the feeling you have to see all this crowd here in Valencia back again?
Yeah, it's incredible after 2 years to be here again. Anyway, bueno, lo digo en español, hemos hecho un casco por Valencia, por todos vosotros, así que nada, vamos a intentar llevarlo a una bonita lucha, intentamos que al podio, si no se puede, lo más arriba posible y sobre todo disfrutar de la última carrera del año.
Muchas gracias Raúl, gracias. And here on the back, there is another guy that is coming back in racing in Valencia after some races out. Jorge Martin. They are talking about maybe the yesterday missing the stopping here in this corner. How you feel? It's so nice to having you back. We miss you so much as well, Maverick and the injury riders, but we were missing that number one on the grid.
Yeah, my last race with the number one, it was a pleasure, but I'm really looking forward to put that 89 again on the test because it wasn't really good luck for me, but yeah, feeling better. Still, I need some days to recover 100%. But it was so necessary to be here riding more than 100 laps to be more ready next season.
Yes, next season starts on Tuesday.
So for me, it started already Friday, so it's a nice test during this weekend.
So I'm asking to the Spanish rider what is to be here back in Valencia. For you, it's very special, it's double special. You're back on racing, but back on seeing all this crowd full of people.
Yeah, for me, it's amazing to race here. For sure, first time that I'm not really competitive, so it's a bit strange. But to be here at home with the full crowd is always nice, and yeah, Spain is different, so always a nice race for me.
Thank you very much, Jorge. Best of luck today. Thank you. Oh, Aleix Espargaró here, just pushing the limits on that Honda, trying to help the teammates. Yes, yesterday you were close to go, especially Friday, to go to the Q2 directly, and yesterday to qualify directly to the Q2 as well. So you are showing a good speed. The Honda is getting better. I think you have something to say about it.
Yeah, I'm happy really. If I'm fast and close to the Honda guys, it means that the bike is working well. It's a good signal because I'm not riding permanently, so I'm quite happy, to be close to them. Honda is making huge progress, so I'm really pleased.
I'm saying a couple of times, but you can tell from your side, how is to be back on racing with these guys. They have an amazing speed and fire on the ace from the first lap to the end.
Yeah, it's very difficult. They are, especially out of the garage, to me the first 2 laps are amazing. I don't have the speed, I need time, and during the GPs you don't have time. So, and also the time attack is something that you really don't train when you're a test rider, so it's really stressful. But it's always good to mix with them, and really you speed up yourself a lot. So yeah, I'm happy to race a couple of times during the year.
Thank you very much, Aleix. Best of luck today. Now let's move to the Italian side, which the first one that I'm gonna try to take. Talking a little bit about for sure what's gonna happen, maybe. Hey, Marco. Ciao. Yesterday, for sure, you were aiming for more. We were suffering a little bit to see you suffering with this front tire, but today everything is going to change. All the riders more or less are going to be with the same tires, so for sure you are going to be able to show your speed.
Well, I hope, of course. Yesterday, as you said, I was hoping more, but anyway, I did my best, and today I'll try to same or better.
So how is to be back here in Valencia after missing a couple of races? You have raced so much here, also as a lot of other riders in MotoGP. How you feel to be back and seeing all this crowd?
Yeah, it's super cool. Nice also because, as everyone knows, has been a tough time for this country, for people. So super happy to be here. The crowd is amazing. It's a super special track to see, like a stadium. So hopefully we can give them a good show.
Thank you very much. Hoping to see you shining today. Thank you. And we are moving a little. We see new faces here. We had José Antonio Rueda. We had Jorge Lorenzo, Augusto Fernandez, Aleix Espargaró, but also we have Nicolò Bulega, a guy that had come with an amazing speed in Superbike and showing good speed also here in MotoGP. How is to be racing here with the big bikes?
Hi, Paul. Honestly, it's a bit difficult because everything is a bit different. But anyway, I'm taking confidence, and every time I go on the bike I feel a bit better, so I just need time.
Thank you, Nicolo. Enjoy today and enjoy the weekend for sure. Thank you. For sure now, also one of the guys that can shine today on the race and can try to, why not, win the race today. We've seen Ducati struggling a little bit and also BR46 struggling the last weekends, but it seems to be very quick. It seems to be very comfy on this weekend, Paddock.
Yeah, we done an amazing job preparing the weekend. The setup of the bike is really good since the beginning, so I'm enjoying a lot racing here in front of all the people. Yeah, today we have a good chance. I just want to have fun, enjoy the last race of the season, and you know, give a good show to the people.
Thank you very much. Best of luck. And Pecco Bagnaia, we are seeing him up and downs, especially in the last part of the year, but we are hoping to see a pickup today on the race. You are starting a little bit on the back, but that doesn't mean that you can do one of those races that you are used to do, trying to win the race.
We try everything, start well, try to make a good start already and go out from the chaos and see if the pace is good enough to fight for a top 10 or not, but the ambition is to enjoy today.
Thank you very much, Pecco. Best of luck. And Jack Miller.
Hola, Stago.
How are you feeling today?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Cruising along. Last one here in Valencia. It's always nice to be back here racing.
It was not easy yesterday. He collided with Fermin Aldeguer. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you have a long lap today, or
no?
Today
I did a long lap yesterday. So yeah, I mean we was in the points. Unfortunate with the contact, but it is what it is. It's done now. We focus on today, and we have good pace all weekend. So try to make a decent start, maintain the position, and try to go from there.
Best of luck, Jack. Thank you very much. Thank you.
algunos expertos ya con el móvil, ¿eh? Los expertos de la confianza, ¿no?
El warm-up al final es el momento donde más hay para nosotros y intentaremos la última con nuestro motor, así que a disfrutar.
Hay mucha gente que te quiere, franceses, y un saludo para todo el mundo.
Gracias a todos, sí, gracias a todos.
Merci, huele francés. ¿Dónde están ahí? Con Jorge Martín, pedazo foto. Ahí está toda la gente de Motomini. Martín, sobre todo, prohibido, que tiene prohibido caerse.
Para seguir acumulando kilómetros.
Martes, importante, ¿no? actividad de los pilotos de Virtual. Hacer eso, y la de Villena, esto la han tirado por